Hey everyone and welcome. We're going to be diving deep into the world of MERB developers today. So if you're out there thinking about maybe hiring one, this is the place to be. We're going to break down all the essentials, help you make a super informed decision. And all of our insights today come directly from the MERB Developers Playbook Guide. It's by theperfectdeveloper.com. And these guys, they're the experts when it comes to matching businesses with top tech talent. And speaking of finding that perfect developer, before we even really jump in, do yourself a favor, all right? Head over to theperfectdeveloper.com and try the 5 questions. It's quick, it's easy, and it's going to help you figure out exactly which type of developer you need for your project.
It's a really fantastic tool.
So now, let's get to the heart of it.
Okay. Maybe.
What exactly IONS, and why should you even care? You know, if you're someone looking to build a website or an app, why MERB?
Well, MERB is a web application framework, and it's really known for its modularity and lightweight nature. You know, unlike some frameworks that try to be a one-size-fits-all solution, MERB allows you to choose only the components you need. You don't have to take everything, and this makes it highly customizable, incredibly fast.
So it's kind of like building with Legos. You pick and choose the blocks you need to create something totally unique.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. MERB's modularity means you're not stuck with unnecessary code. This leads to faster load times and a better experience for your users. And that's really important these days, especially for businesses that need applications that can adapt and grow without sacrificing performance.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I need an app that's tailor-made, can handle some serious growth, and loads crazy fast, MERB's the way to go.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful tool, especially for businesses looking to build those high-performance applications.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the developers themselves. What skills should you be looking for when you're trying to hire a MERB developer? Now, our guide really emphasizes practical skills over certification.
Absolutely. You know, while certifications can be helpful, they don't always reflect real-world experience. And in the end, you really want to see what a developer has actually built. So a strong portfolio showcasing successful MERB projects is essential. Look for examples of complex applications they've developed and how they tackled specific challenges.
So it's not enough to just say you can code in MERB. You really have to prove you can deliver. Now, the guide also mentions performance optimization is a key skill. It seems pretty obvious, but why is this so important in the world of MERB?
Well, because MERB's biggest advantage is its speed. A skilled MERB developer understands how to squeeze every ounce of performance out of the framework. They know how to optimize the code, leverage caching strategies, and fine-tune database queries. To make sure those applications run like a well-oiled machine.
Wow, it sounds like performance optimization is an art form in itself.
You could definitely say that. You see, a true MERB master understands that performance is an ongoing process. They're constantly looking for ways to improve efficiency and make sure the application runs smoothly, even as it scales.
Interesting. So MERB developers are kind of like race car mechanics. They're not just building the car, they're constantly tweaking and tuning it to get the best possible performance.
I like that analogy. They're always seeking that extra edge.
I love it. So we've talked about some of the core skills, but I gotta admit, I always thought of MERB as something that's just for tech startups, but our guide mentions that it's actually used in a lot of other industries too, which is a bit surprising.
Yeah. MERB's flexibility and customization make it a really valuable tool in a variety of industries, including finance and healthcare. Think of a trading platform that needs to process transactions in milliseconds, or a secure system for managing sensitive patient data. MERB can handle all of that.
So even if my business isn't a tech company, MERB could still be the secret weapon for my next project.
It could definitely give you a competitive advantage.
Wow, this is great information.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. Hiring developers, it can get expensive. And the Playbook actually gives us some insights into salaries for MERB developers. Can you give us an idea of what we should expect?
Sure. It's important to remember that salaries can vary based on experience, location, and the specific requirements of the project. But just to give you a general idea, in the US, a mid-level MERB developer might make somewhere between $110,000 and $160,000 a year. And then European salaries, they might range from $70,000 to $120,000. Now, if you're thinking about outsourcing to regions like Asia, you might find developers with more competitive rates. But you always want to make sure you factor in potential communication and project management overhead.
That's a pretty wide range. But I think it highlights something that's super crucial. Investing in an experienced MERB developer, even if they cost a little more upfront, can actually save you money in the long run. I'm guessing that's what the experts at theperfectdeveloper.com would recommend, Ray.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. Would you rather hire a master electrician to rewire your house or risk going with someone less experienced who might cut corners and cause problems down the line.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point. You're saying that hiring the right MERB expert from the start can prevent those costly headaches and reworks later on.
Exactly. Choosing a developer solely based on the lowest price can really backfire. Investing in expertise up front can save you significant time and money in the long term.
That's a fantastic point. So we've established that finding a skilled MERB developer is key. But then comes the next decision. Full-time, freelance, agency, which way do you even go? There's so many hiring models out there.
I know. It can feel overwhelming. Each model has its pros and cons. So the one that's right for you really depends on your specific needs and the nature of your project.
Perfect. So let's break them down. Let's talk about the different hiring models and when each one makes sense.
Okay, so let's start with full-time employment. This is a great option if you have a consistent need for MERB development. If you anticipate ongoing updates, new features, or a long-term project roadmap. Having a dedicated in-house developer provides stability and deep integration with your team, but it also comes with the highest cost.
That makes sense. What about part-time or contract-based hiring?
Part-time can be a good fit for smaller projects, maintenance tasks, or when you just need specialized skills for a limited amount of time. It's definitely more cost-effective than full-time, but you might have to work around the developer's availability a bit more.
Okay, so full-time is for those consistent needs, and part-time is more for those specialized or short-term projects.
Got it. Now, what about outsourcing? When would bringing in a freelancer or an agency make sense? Freelancers are perfect for those one-off projects, or when you just need a very specific skill set for a short period of time. They offer a lot of flexibility and often have really specialized expertise, but you do need to be diligent in vetting their skills, their reliability, and their communication style. Now, agencies, on the other hand, offer a whole team of MERB experts, which can be really valuable for larger or more complex projects.
So basically, agencies can handle the heavy lifting and project management, but at a higher price.
Exactly.
Okay, that's incredibly helpful. I'm already feeling more confident about choosing the right hiring model.
Yeah.
But how do you actually find these talented MERB developers? Like, where do you even begin to look?
Well, the MERB Developer's Playbook Guide by theperfectdeveloper.com actually suggests some excellent strategies for finding qualified candidates.
Fantastic. So let's dive into those strategies and talk about what we should be looking for when we're evaluating these potential MERB developers. We'll do that right after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
So finding talented MERB developers, it might seem a little daunting at first, but theperfectdeveloper.com has some great advice. One thing they recommend is exploring freelance platforms like Upwork and TopTal. These sites have a pretty wide range of developers, including those specializing in MERB.
Okay, that makes sense. But with so many freelancers out there, how can you really tell if they're truly qualified? I mean, anyone can create a profile, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's why it's so important to thoroughly vet those potential candidates. Don't just rely on their profiles. Really dive into their portfolios. Look for concrete examples of MERB projects they've actually completed. Pay attention to the complexity of the applications, the technologies they used, and any performance optimizations they highlight.
So it's all about the proof in the pudding. Seeing is believing, right? Are there any other strategies for finding those, like hidden MERB gems out there?
Absolutely. Don't underestimate the power of developer communities. Sites like GitHub and Stack Overflow are gold mines for finding experienced MERB developers. You can actually see their code contributions, see how they interact with other developers, and get a real sense of their expertise.
Oh, that's a great tip. I totally forget about those resources sometimes. So you've scoured the freelance platforms, you've dived deep into the developer communities, you've found some promising candidates. What's the next step?
The interview process, this is where you really separate the wheat from the chaff, and the MERB Developer's Playbook Guide by theperfectdeveloper.com, well, they suggest some powerful interview questions designed to reveal a candidate's true understanding of MERB.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of those insightful questions? The ones that can help you spot a true MERB master?
Well, one question that I find particularly effective is, can you describe your experience with MERB's modular architecture and how you approach breaking down complex features into manageable components? This question really gets to the heart of MERB's philosophy. You're not just looking for someone who can code. You want someone who understands the elegance and efficiency of modular design.
So it's not just about the how, it's about the why behind MERB. What kind of answer would make you think, okay, this person really gets it?
You want to hear more than just a textbook definition of modularity. A strong candidate will actually articulate how they've used MERB's modularity to create reusable components, simplify code maintenance, and enhance the application's performance. They'll demonstrate a clear understanding of how MERB's unique structure contributes to building robust and scalable applications.
So they see the big picture. They're not just focused on those individual lines of code.
Got it. What other interview questions can help us uncover those MERB experts? Another one that can be quite revealing is, how do you approach performance optimization in MERB applications? As we talked about earlier, performance is super important in MERB, and this question really digs into their process and reveals their level of expertise.
Right, we talked about how important performance optimization is, but why is this specific question so effective in an interview? What should you be listening for in their response?
Well, you want to hear concrete examples of how they've tackled performance challenges. In past MERB projects, do they mention specific techniques like caching strategies, code profiling, database query optimization, or using tools like Rack Mini Profiler to pinpoint bottlenecks? A true MERB expert will have a whole toolbox of techniques at their disposal and be able to articulate their approach clearly and concisely.
Okay, so it's not just about saying I care about performance. It's about showing that you actually have the knowledge and the experience to make MERB applications sing.
Exactly. A deep understanding of performance optimization. That's a real hallmark of a skilled MERB developer.
This is incredibly valuable information. We've covered some really great interview questions. But are there any red flags to watch out for? What are some signs that a candidate might not be the right fit for a MERB project, even if they seem really impressive on paper?
That's a really important point. Even with a stellar resume, there are some red flags that might indicate a candidate doesn't really have true MERB expertise.
Okay, let's talk about those red flags. What should we be wary of when we're evaluating these potential MERB developers? Okay, so red flags, let's talk about it. What should we be looking out for?
Well, one of the biggest red flags you'll see is a lack of MERB-specific experience in their portfolio. MERB, it's powerful, but it is a niche framework. So if someone claims to be an expert, but they can't show you any actual MERB projects, that's a warning sign right there. Don't just take their word for it. You want to see the proof.
Right, yeah. Seeing is believing. You want that tangible evidence of their MERB skills. So a thin portfolio or one that's missing those MERB projects altogether, that's definitely a red flag. What else should we be cautious about?
Another red flag is a poor understanding of modular principles. If a candidate struggles to explain how they would break down complex features into those smaller, manageable components, they might not be the best fit for a MERB project. They might be a fantastic developer overall. But if they don't really grasp that modularity is at the core of MERB, it could lead to some serious challenges down the road.
That makes sense. You want someone who really embraces that unique MERB approach. Are there any other warning signs that we should be keeping an eye out for?
Yeah, definitely. Be cautious if a candidate seems overly focused on other frameworks, especially if they start downplaying MERB's strengths. While it's great if they know other frameworks, you ideally want someone who's really passionate about MERB, passionate about its unique capabilities. They should be able to explain why MERB is the right tool for the job, not just try to force it where it doesn't belong.
Right. It's about finding someone who truly gets it, someone who appreciates those MERB strengths and knows when it's truly the best solution. So it sounds like finding the right MERB developer goes way beyond just ticking off boxes on a resume. It's about finding someone who shares that same passion for MERB, for its modularity, its performance focus, and its ability to create those super customized solutions.
Absolutely. It's about finding someone who's not just a coder, but a true MERB enthusiast, someone who understands its nuances and can really leverage its power to build something exceptional.
And that's where theperfectdeveloper.com really comes in handy, right? They can help you find those passionate MERB developers, the ones who are truly the perfect fit for your specific project.
They absolutely can. Their expertise in matching businesses with top tech talent is invaluable.
Okay, fantastic. So just to wrap things up, MERB might not be as well known as some of the other frameworks out there, but its speed, its flexibility, and its customization capabilities, these can be real game changers for businesses. If you need an application that's tailor-made, high-performing, and built to adapt and grow, MERB developers are definitely worth considering.
Absolutely. And remember, finding that perfect developer might be easier than you think, especially with the resources and guidance you can get from theperfectdeveloper.com.
That's right. And don't forget to visit their website, theperfectdeveloper.com, and try out the 5 questions. It's a quick, easy, and free way to figure out exactly which type of developer you need, and it can save you so much time and hassle in the long run.
It's a truly fantastic resource.
Well, that brings us to the end of our mini deep dive into the world of MERB developers. We hope you found it insightful and helpful, especially as you embark on your journey to build those amazing applications.
It was my pleasure sharing these insights with you.
Remember, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep building those incredible things. Until next time, happy coding, everyone.